Hello besties and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to do a video that is a monthly thing on here. I'm going to do an August wrap up. So I'm going to talk about all the books I've read in the previous month. I'm going to tell you guys a little more about them, what I rated them and why I may have rated them that. So yeah. It are quite a lot of books we're going to have to get through, so I would say let's get started. So first up, some little statistics that might be interesting. I read a total of 17 books. Of those 17 books, I read 12 physical books, so physical copies of the books. I read 3 audiobooks and 2 books on my Kobo. Then for genres, I read 2 mystery thrillers, I read 2 fantasy books, 12 romance books, and 1 literary YA book. So we got quite a lot of different things, mostly romance, because obviously I'm still romance girly, so yeah. I'm going to get straight ahead with all the books. So book number 1 is starting off good because it was my favorite book of the month and I stand by it. It was a book I was so excited about to start reading and I'm very glad I did because I was going to wait for like the fall time, but I'm really glad I didn't wait. Maybe I will reread it in the fall. You never know. But that is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil from V.E. Schwab. So this is a fantasy historical book. It is with vampires. It follows 3 women throughout different decades. It's with vampires. They're all connected to each other. So you have like 3 POVs, but also you change timelines and time periods throughout the book. And I really like that. I just love V. Schwab, her writing. I mean, it's so good. I also annotated some bits and pieces or just some things I wanted to remind myself of. Yes, I really loved it. There were some things I didn't expect in this book as well. I highly recommend reading this book. I just love V. Schwab work. I read The Invisible Life of Annie LaRue by her, and now I read this one, so this is my second book by her, and I need to read other books by this woman because she's so good. This was a 6-star read. The Invisible Life of Annie LaRue is also a 6-star read, so I mean I do have to read other books by her. And in my opinion, because I was a little bit scared going into it, it would be a bit more slow paced because I had that with The Invisible Life of Annie LaRue. But this one wasn't. I was so invested and seeing what was happening in the story and what was happening to these characters in this book. It is also a queer book, so it's a lesbian vibes, vampire, fantasy. I mean, it is everything you want. So if you're looking for a good fall book, this is a good option right here. So yeah, we started the month off great. So that was a really good start of August. The next book is a book I read on my e-reader and it is Polaris by Hannah Erkens. This is a Dutch YA book. I've been seeing a lot of people in the more of the Belgian community raving about the books by this author, and I was like, I really need to try it out, and I picked up Polaris. So Polaris is a YA. It's not really a romance book, but it's also not a fantasy book. It is, I would say, a literary fiction YA book. I don't know if it's a genre, but from now on, it is a genre in my opinion. So we follow Noelle, and Noelle, her best friend, just recently died from cancer, and I was really struggling with that aspect, which is very normal. I mean, they're very young, and she just started university as well. So she's going through a lot. She's also a little bit struggling with her sexuality, and I'm still grieving. And one day she gets this advent calendar from the mother of her best friend. And it's this advent calendar who her best friend created for her, especially for Noelle. And in each day there is this challenge for her to do. And it was so beautiful. There were some tears It is, I think, a very good book to read during the Christmas period because you really can read it as an advent calendar as well. I saw a lot of people doing that. So it was maybe not the best time period season to read, but I still really enjoyed the book. So yeah, so I gave it 3.75 stars. I started doing a readathon, a 24-hour readathon in August because I was feeling like it. And I filmed a whole lot of this video, but I deleted all the footage because I just wasn't happy because I didn't finish it. And I was like, nope, we're not going to upload this. I'm not going to spend my time editing this whole video and not be satisfied with it. So yeah, so I read a lot of books in August also because of that readathon, so be aware. This is not a normal month for me. Don't think I've ever read this many books. So yeah. So the first book I read in that readathon was Collide by Bella Carba. I picked this book up in the bookstore and I've been seeing a lot of good things about this series because it's the first book in the Of the Ice series. It's a hockey romance and I was really excited to start this. So in this book we follow Summer, and Summer, she is studying psychology and she has to write this thesis on a sport because she wants to be a sport psychologist, and she has to do this on hockey because her advisor says she has to do it. But she has a difficult relationship with hockey, so she is like a little bit more hesitant from I don't know if I want to do this, but I mean she has to, so she has no other choice. And she gets assigned to the hockey team of her university and she has to follow the hockey captain. Enter Aiden. Aiden, he loves being hockey captain, but there were some risks and some problems and some mistakes he's made throughout the season, and now as a punishment he has to participate in this research, in this thesis. So yeah, there's a little complicated relationship, but they are going to help each other out, and yeah, I really liked it. It is a spicy book, so be aware of that before you go into it, but I really liked it. I liked the characters. It was really a fun, good hockey romance book. So I give this 3.75 stars. Then after that, I also read Spiral. This is the second book in that interconnected series. And in this book we follow Elias, and now they're not in college anymore, so they're like being pros. And Elias, he is just got signed to play for the Toronto Thunders, but he's been having a little bit trouble with being in the spotlight. There's a lot of gossip about him that he's fooling around with a lot of different women. And then he meets Sage, and Sage, she wants to be a ballerina and she's trying out for this role she wants to play, but it's really difficult to get this role because a lot of what plays a part to get maybe the role is Insta following. So you have to have a certain following on Instagram or on social media, and that's not what Sage has. So it's a little bit difficult. So their paths cross and they're like, you know what, I think we can help each other out. So they just start to fake date. I really loved their dynamic. I had such a fun time reading this book. I giggled, I laughed, I cried even a little bit reading this one. And I think there is one more book coming that's coming in October, and I have it pre-ordered, so I'm very excited about that. In the beginning I was like, should I give it 5 stars? Should I? But I just give it 4.75 stars because I really liked it, but it was just so not that 5-star feeling, if you know what I mean. But I highly recommend reading this book. The next book is a book I listened to as an audiobook, and that is The Summer We Ran by Audrey, I'm going to look, Ingram. I saw this book in the video of Sarah Girly, and I got a little bit more intrigued by the plot and how she talked about what this book was about, so I was really excited. I didn't want to buy the book because she also said that the audiobook was really fun, so I decided to listen to the audiobook of this book, and I really enjoyed it. You have 2 voice actors, so you have a voice actor for the woman and you have a voice actor for the man, so it's really nice to have 2 different voice actors in my opinion. So in this book you have 2 different timelines. You have the past and you have the present, and you have also 2 POVs. It is split in 3 parts. So in the first part you follow the POV of Tess, and in the second part you follow Grant's POV, and then in the third you again follow Tess's part. So we followed Tess and Grant from back in the day. She used to work for his mother, and there are a lot of things happening in that summertime. And now in the present timeline, they're running against each other to be governor of Virginia. There's things happening. Their past is coming out to the public. It's a really interesting story. I really enjoyed it. Something that Sarah Crowley also said was she didn't really feel the spark between them or something like that, and I kind of get it because there are a lot of things that I don't see them fit together. And what I also was a little bit scared for is both of them have partners in the present timeline, so I was like, how are they going to do this? So yeah, but I enjoyed it, and after thinking it, I really enjoyed quite a lot of this book, and I really want to read more books like this. So if you have any recommendations that are similar to this book, let me know in the comments. So I decided to give this book 3.5 stars. I really wanted to continue this specific series, and that is a Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. It is a graphic novel YA series. I read the first book I think last year, and I really wanted to continue, but I still hadn't, and I was like, I really want to. But I was waiting to go to the library because I knew my library had the physical copies. So I went and I got the 3 books. So I read Heartstopper 2, 3 and 4, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed reading about Charlie's and Nick's story, and there were some turns that I didn't expect to happen. It became a lot more serious from a certain book, and I wasn't expecting that. So be aware if you're going into the Heartstopper series, it is not fun, lovey-dovey kind of YA book. There are some heavy topics that are being spoken about, being dealt with. So yeah, but I really enjoyed it, and I really liked how they dealt with it in the story. I still have, I think, 1 or 2 more books to read. I don't really know how to rate these books because I read them very fast, and yeah, so I'm not going to give these books a rating because I would probably just give them 5 stars, but I don't know. I don't know, but I really enjoyed them, and I'm really glad I continued this series. And next up, I also started another series because obviously I maybe finish another series, but I'm going to start a new series. So I started the Gold Rush Ranch series by Elsie Silver. So this is her first. These are our first books. So I was really excited to start reading this. So this is Other Races, and this is the first book in that little series. So in this book, you follow Vaughn and Billy. Vaughn is the owner of this ranch that is in his family. And then enter Billy. And Billy is a woman who trains horses to be in competition. They don't really get along from the start. So a little bit of enemies. They're like, I don't know if I feel like you. I don't know if I like you either. So it's a little bit, there's some tension there going on. It is also dual PV, by the way. It's also very spicy, so also be aware of that. I enjoyed it. I found it like a very interesting story, but nothing wow or something. I mean, I enjoyed it, the cowboys, and I really liked Billy as well as a character. So I decided to give this book 3.5 stars just because, I mean, it was good, but I wasn't not that connected to the characters and to the story that I was like, oh my god, this was so good. And at the end of this book, there's also this little novella Out of the Gate, and that novella is about the grandfather of Vaughn. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not including it as a separate book because it was also in this book and it's really short, so yeah. I enjoyed it, but it was not that interested in the story. I'm gonna be really honest. I'm also not going to read it because it's very short, so yeah. And after that, I'm not really after that, but I'm going to talk about the book that comes after Other Races, and that is A Photo Finish. I was really excited to start this story because we got some glimpses of the couple in this book, in the first book. So in this book we follow Violet and Cole, and Cole is a brother of Vaughn. And Violet, she is a sister of the brothers in the Chestnut Spring series, so that's really fun to know. So Violet and Cole, they know each other. They have a past, they had some connection earlier. They had some contacts before they knew who they are. I don't know how to say it. So yeah, that was really interesting. I was so excited. I really like Violent and Cole. There was a lot more to Cole because in other races he seems like a bit more of a grumpy guy, and he is, but I really loved his character and what else he did with it in this book, and also how they did it with Violet and their connection and their banter. I really enjoyed it, and I was really excited to start reading. I couldn't stop waiting to read this book because I was so like, oh my god, I'm so much waiting for these two. It was so fun. So yeah, I will say it's also very spicy, as I think all Elsie Silver books are. So yeah, so I decided to give this 4 stars because I just really enjoyed this book a lot more than I enjoyed Author Races. There are 2 more books left, and I'm very interested to see which book I will like the most out of these 4 books. So yeah, I'm a Ellie Hazelwood fan. I love everything she writes, everything she makes. I will read or listen. So I was like, I'm going to listen to Two Can Play by Ellie Hazelwood. This is her little novella audiobook, and it was available on Storytel, and I've been wanting to listen to it for such a long time. So I was like, now is the time to listen to this. So I did, and I really enjoyed it. So in this book, I'm going to just read the synopsis because it's just a really short book, and I don't want to spoil anything with my synopsis, you know? This synopsis comes just from Goodreads, okay? Viola Bowen has this chance of a lifetime to design a video game based on her all-time favorite book series. The only problem, her co-lead is Jessie freaking Andrews, aka her arch nemesis. Jessie has made it abundantly clear over the years that he wants nothing to do with her, and Viola has no idea why. When their bosses insist a wintry retreat is a perfect team-building exercise, Viola can think of anything worse. Being a freezing cold in a remote mountain lodge, knowing Jessie is right next to her, no thank you. But as the snow piles on, Viola discovers there's more to Jessie than she knew, and the heat builds in more ways than one. I so enjoyed this book. I really want Ellie Hazelwood to write another book with this kind of vibes. It was so fun. Yeah, I don't think Ellie can write a book that I don't like. I mean, Love on the Brain is my least favorite book by her, but I still liked it. So, yeah. So I think it's really hard to rate like novellas, but I still really love this one, so I give it 4 stars. I just love it. I can't. I want to read more of them, you know? I wish it was a book that I could hold and read the whole story of. That would be so amazing, truly. But sadly, it isn't. Now, on to the next. The next book I read is These Infinite Threads by Tara Muffy. So this is a YA fantasy book. It's the second book in the This Woven Kingdom series. I really wanted to continue the series and finish more books of my physical CBR, and this one has been standing there for a long time, so I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to read you, so if I want to read you now, I'm going to read you now, because otherwise I'm not going to be in the mood anymore. So yeah, so this is obviously the continuation of the first book, The Woven Kingdom, so I can't say too much about it because I don't want to spoil anything. But we still follow Alize and everything that happened after the events that happened in the first book. I really noticed that I wasn't really invested in the beginning. I think one of the main reasons for that is because I read This Woven Kingdom a while ago, and I didn't remember a lot of the book, so I also had to look some things up because I just didn't remember a lot of it. But I still liked it. There were some things I really was invested in. I was like, oh, I want to read, I want to know what is going to happen. But the majority of the time I was just not that invested, and also not that invested in the characters as well. So that's why I decided to give it 3 stars. I also don't know if I'm going to continue this series, just because I'm just not that interested and invested in the story. So yeah, but I think it's still a good story, and it's still interesting. Maybe if I would have read it in like more back to back, I would have liked it more, but it is what it is now. So yeah, 3 stars. Now, this is actually a reread. I read it. The next 3 books, really? Yes. The next 1, 2, 3, 4 books are books I read in a recent video. So if you haven't seen it, you'll see the books now. So I reread Better Than Movies by Lynn Painter. So this is a YA romance book, and I love this book. I reread it for a specific reason. I got the French edition, and I want to read the French edition, but I wanted to read the English edition first, so I was like, I know what this book was about, you know? So I wanted to refresh my memory a little bit more. But I really love this book. It's such a fun YA romance book. This book follows Liz and Wes, and Liz has this love for rom-coms, and she has this crush on a guy, and her neighbor Wes knows this guy, and she's like, you know what if we pretends we're dating, so he maybe gets a little bit more jealous or something. So that's what they do, and it gets a little bit more complicated than that as well. So yeah, I just really love this book. I also annotated it now a little bit more than I did the first time. I have no words for this book. I just love it. Yeah, definitely 5-star for me. I don't have a lot more to say about this book than just read this. Now, this book is one of my most anticipated releases of this year, and I was so excited to start this book. I also did a buddy read with one of my friends. She also has a Booktube, so I will put it here on the screen and also add her book channel in the description down below. And I reread Love Arranged by Lauren Isher. So this is the 3rd book and the last book in the League from Billionaire series, and I was so excited to start reading this. So in this book we follow Lorenzo and Lily, and Lorenzo, he came to town and a lot of people don't really like him. He's also running to become mayor of this little small town, but not everyone is the biggest fan of him. Also not Lily's family is not the biggest fan of him. And Lily is a FMC in this character, and I have a struggle. They both have their problems. Lily is one of the, Lily, her business is threatened to be gone because of someone, and she doesn't want it, obviously, because she loves her business. It's also the business of her mother and father, and her father died, so it's really important to her that it keeps existing. And Lorenzo also wants to win this election, but he needs to have a better character, and he's looking for a fake fiance. Enter Lily. So what happens is they fake date. There's a fake fiance thing going on. A lot of more is going on. They have their struggles together. Sometimes they're like, I don't know what you want from me. I don't know what this is. But yeah, there's a reason why Lorenzo cut off, because they knew each other. They were texting with each other through dating app, but Lorenzo was like, nope, we're not going to do this. So he cut off all contact. So yeah, but I really enjoyed it. I was also very scared going into this book, because I still like Love Unwritten, but I just didn't like it that much as I liked Love Redesigned. So I was kind of scared, like, would I like it as well? But I did, and so I gave it 5 stars. I enjoyed every bit of it. It is a thick book, but it could be 100 pages longer, and I will still read all of it. So yeah, I definitely highly recommend reading this book. I also started listening to an audiobook, and that is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This is a thriller, an adult thriller book, and I was really interested to see how this would go, because it's a thriller. I don't really listen to audiobooks a lot, so I was like, how is this thing going to go? But I enjoyed it. So this book follows a couple, and they're married to each other, but they have some strugglings into their marriage. So they're going to this cabin in a very remote place. And some strange things are happening in this place. So yeah, but they both also have secrets from each other, so it's very complicated, like has something to do with this. And there's also another character involved, so there's 3 POVs in this book, so it was really all of those, and it was like, oh, what is going on here? But sometimes I was a little bit bored, like especially in the beginning, I couldn't really get into the story, I was not that invested. So I was like, At sometimes I was like, should I DNF this? Because I just didn't really feel connected and invested in the story and also in the characters. But in the end, I liked it. There were some twists I didn't expect to happen. So yeah. And I decided to give it 3.25 stars because I did like it. And there were some things I was really interested in and to see what was going to happen, etc. I also read this book in a video, and that is Part of Your Will by Abby Jimenez. And this is the first book in a Part of Your World like trilogy interconnected series. I was really interesting to see what this book was about and to start this book. And I told a whole review in my video about this book. In the beginning, I really liked this book, and I was like, oh my god, this is definitely going to be 4, maybe above 4 stars. Then I was reading other people's reviews, and there was one specific review. I was like, oh my god, that's so true. So in this book we follow Alexis and Daniel. Alexis, she lives in the city. She's an ER doctor. She comes from this very big, rich family. And then you have Daniel. Daniel lives in this small town. He has this struggles with money, and their paths cross. There's also an age gap going on. The thing what I didn't like at the end was how Alexis acted in some ways towards Daniel, because I do think Daniel deserves better than Alexis in my opinion. And there were some things I didn't like about Alexis as well. So yeah, that didn't really strike me, but I really enjoyed the writing style of it, and I really liked reading the parts of Daniel. So that was what got me to decide to give it a little bit more of a higher rating. So I decided to give this book 3.75 stars. I mean, I still like the book, and I still like the book, and I will definitely be reading yours truly also, because then I would have read all the books, because I already read Just for a Zara. So yeah. And now, the final book of August. This was a book I picked up very randomly. All of a sudden I was in this mystery kind of mood, and I saw this book, and I was like, you know what? This is a book I'm going to read. And that is Death at the Morning House by Maureen Johnson. So this is a mystery YA book, and while reading the synopsis I was really intrigued. So I'm going to read the synopsis to you guys as well. So that's a bit more easier for me, because I'm not good at explaining books sometimes. So, the fire wasn't Marlo Wexler's fault. Dates should be hot, but not hot enough to warrant literal firefighters. Akela, the girl Marlo has been in love with for years, will never go out with her again. No one dates an accidental arsonist. With her house-sitting career up in flames, it seems the universe owes Marlo a new summer job, and that's how she ends up at Morning House, a mansion built on an island in the 1920s and an abandoned shortly thereafter. It's easy enough giving tours, low risk of fire, high chance of getting bored talking about stained glass and nut cuddles and prohibition. Oh, and the dads. Does anyone mention the dads? Maybe this job isn't such a gift after all. Morning House has a horrific secret that's been buried for decades, and now the person who brought her here is missing. All it takes is one clue to set off a catastrophic chain of events. One small detail, just like a spark, could burn it all down, if someone doesn't bury Marlo first. I was really intrigued reading this. I was like, oh, what are the secrets? So we have like 2 POVs, like 2 timelines actually. So we have the present timeline where we follow Marlo while she's working at this summer house, and you have the past timeline. And that's about the family who lived in the Morning House in the 1920s, and everything that went down at that house and why the house was actually abandoned. And it was so interesting. I was really interested to see what was going to happen. I thought, oh, now I gotta figure it out. And then I didn't have figured it out. So, yeah. But there was also some times that I wasn't that invested, but for the majority of the time I was really invested and wanting to see what was going to happen with everything and with all of the books that was with all of the person's characters that were at that, and it was also happened in the past. So yeah, but so I give it 3.25 stars. So yeah, that are all the books I read in August, and now I can finally close off the summer bar. So I'm going to put it here, down here, somewhere on the screen, and we're going to see how many books I read. I think there were like 5 out of the 10 books I put on my summer bar. So it's not the best, but it's still fine, because at some point I decided to go on a book buying ban, and there were some books on my list that I didn't want to read, like through the library or through an audiobook or through just on my e-reader, because I really want to have them physically. So yeah, but I read a really good reading month in August. I'm really glad I got through some of these books, and overall most of the books I really liked, so that's also very fun. Let me know what your favorite book was of the month of August, and what is a book you really are looking forward to read in the fall season. And that was it. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, maybe like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!